Hello, I'm Maria Hadlow, Editorial Director of Lift and Hoist International. Paul De Mattie is Crosby's Vice President of Sales for the Eastern region of the USA. He's been in the industry for 20 years and still enjoys the variety of experiences that his career has enabled him to have. We talked to him and to Lillemor Hjalmefjord, who came into lifting in 2019 with a background in engineering and is Crosby's Quality Assurance Manager for Europe. So Paul, would you tell us a little bit about your career and how long you've been working in the lifting industry?
Thanks, Maria. So I've been in the lifting industry for approximately 20 years. I've spent the past 12 with the Crosby Group here in the US. I spent several years prior to that in the early 90s working for a Crosby Group distributor in central Connecticut, which was a wire rope and rigging business where I kind of got my start and learned all the various applications of what happens in the lifting and rigging world, if you will. Currently, I'm a VP of sales for the Eastern region of the US. So I have responsibilities for the commercial team and training side of the business for the Eastern portion of the United States.
Thank you. That's a lot of in-depth knowledge I'm sure you have there. Lillemor, tell me a little bit about your career in lifting.
Well, I joined the company in September 2019, so I haven't been that long in the company. I came from a more project-related type of company before that. I was working for General Electric. And so it was in construction, I would say. So yes, there was a lot of lifting going on, but a different type of business. And so I came in September. So almost, just almost 2 years now.
So Paul, I mean, as you say, you've got an awful lot of experience. Over that time, what have you found the most enjoyable part of the job, the most satisfying elements?
I think the really satisfying part of the job is being involved with just so many interesting projects that, friends, family members of mine, when you're asked a question about what do you do for a career, and you explain, where you may have been this week, whether it's, the construction of the Tappan Zee Bridge project here in New York City, an iconic structure, the Freedom Tower, being on site to see a naval destroyer, the top of a naval destroyer, 1,100-ton deck house being lifted simultaneous by 4 cranes. So, the education piece, working with engineers, the end users that use our products, that's really, I would say, was probably the most satisfying part of really day in and day out. It's, every phone call, every email is different. The applications are different. They're not the same. And it's really what keeps the career, if you will, exciting and enjoyable.
That's really interesting. Was it the variety that attracted you to the industry, Lillemor, or was it something else?
Yes, I would say it was, and it's also that there's much more to it than you first think. There's much more than meets the eye initially, and I was attracted to working again in an international company, and I'm the quality assurance manager in Europe for the Crosby Group. And also to work with many different types of products, many types of lifting equipment, and also the international environment. So that's, yeah.
So Paul, based on your years of experience, what advice would you give to Lillemor that she could get the absolute most out of a career in the lifting industry?
I think for anyone starting out or having some experience, I really think that the main takeaway is really being involved in understanding of the changes within the industry in terms of, regulations that are continuously to evolving, OSHA standards, ASME standards, and really trying to be in front of that so that, you're more comfortable, right, when we interact with the end users from a training perspective and really a safety perspective, that we're working to the latest standards that are set in the industry.
Lillemor, if you were to meet someone who was considering a career change, what would you say to them to encourage them to come into lifting?
Well, I would say that you should really try this. It's much more, as I said before, than what you initially think. when you see a big crane, but then you realize that our products are there, and it's a big impact on the safety of the people working with our products, and it's really an important business. Maybe it's a bit hidden to some extent. You don't really see it that initially, but it's much more complicated and it's much more interesting than what you think. And really try it and come join us. It's an exciting world, and it's a changing world as all the time.
Thank you so much. Thank you both for helping us celebrate Global Lifting Awareness Day. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.